Hey everyone, so today I'm going to be creating this simple paracord sliding knot bracelet. I had been thinking of new designs that I could release under my brand Hunter because we got these new geometric beads in, and I wanted to create something that was simple yet easy to wear, and these are, this is one of the designs I came up with. It's not final, but I thought this would be a great opportunity to create a tutorial and show you guys. Alright, so the first thing we need are 2 strands of paracord, and I make them preferably about 3 feet each. I'm just using my leftover paracord that I used to create experiments with, so it's this dark burgundy. So that, and you need a bead. So some people actually use stuff from the hardware store, or maybe a leftover bead that they have, or a coin, like a coin with like a loop through it or hole through it. But today we're going to be using this geometric bead, similar to the example that I showed you. Alright, so the first step, what you need to do is you're going to take your 2 strands of paracord here, and you're going to loose these 2 strands through the hole of this bead. So I've done it here already just to save time. So you can see I have the geometric bead and the 2 strands of paracord run through it. And you're going to want to position the bead in the middle of these 2 strands here. So the first step that we need to do is you're going to take this strand, the one that's actually behind in the back, and you're going to loop this over the strand in the front, like that. Bring it down, loop it over, and then under. So you have 2 loops there. You're going to do it a 3rd time. Loop it over, under, until you have 3 loops. Then I'm holding these 3 loops together. You're going to want to loose this this strand on the left, and make sure that the loops stay in the order that you created them, which is really important. And you're going to tighten this up like so. Oh, there you go. It takes a little bit, but you just need to fidget with it in order to get it tight. And once you have that, you should see that you have 3 perfectly lined strands of paracord in the front, like this. And tighten it up a little bit. You want to make sure that this is, pretty tight, just because it's going to help hold that bead in place. And in the back, you see the paracord coming through that tightens it. Alright, so now we have one side done. And now we're going to move on to the other side. So what you're going to do is you're just going to flip it like this. And remember the strand that was tightening it, and it's this one. It's the one that's coming out. And you're going to do the same on the other side. So again, you're going to hold it, you're going to bring it down, then over, and make sure that the second loop, I don't know if I clarified this in the first knot, but the second loop is going to position itself on the left side of the loop that you just created. So when you bring it over, make sure it's on the left, and then you're going to bring it down like that. And then you're going to do it again like this. Bring it up and over and down and like this. So now you have 3 loops here. I'm holding it with my finger. Now you're going to take this strand of paracord and loose it through, just like we did with the first knot. So slowly tighten it, because you want this knot, and again, try not to mess the order of the knots that you created it. It's really important to keep them together so that it looks nice. You want this knot to be right up to where your bead is so that it can hold it firmly in place. So all it does is you need to slowly adjust it, because if you just pull it, you're gonna lose control and it's not going to tighten nicely. So just make sure that you take your time with it. Just takes a little fidgeting around and you'll get it. Like that. There. So that looks nice. So now we have these 2 knots firmly holding the bead in place. We can't have these 2 strings hanging off the side, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut and singe off 1 strand. So for this, what I generally use, I use scissors, and I use a simple barbecue lighter. I know there's more efficient lighters out there that can get this job done, but using that works for me and for my methods. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the end. So we just worked on this knot, and this was the tightening strand of paracord. We're going to cut this off and singe it. So I'm going to turn it over just so that I can get a better handle of it. Get my scissors. I'm going to cut this like this. Right. Now you want to pull back the other strand, hold it against the bead so that when you singe it, it doesn't burn the other strand as well. So now what we're doing is we're just singeing off the excess paracord singeing off the paracord that we just cut, and I'm flattening it out like that. Great. So now we're going to do it on the other side. And so we're going to take the strand that I tightened, which is this one right here, cut it and singe. Same steps. So again, you're going to take the strand that is left over, I'm going to pull it back so that you can get a clean singe. You're going to burn it off. Just like that. And flatten it out. Great. So now we have the first part done, which are the 2 knots holding the bead in place. Alright. So now once we have this, we're going to move on to the next part, which are creating the adjustable sliding knots. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these 2 paracord, and you're going to take this end and bring it underneath the right end so that they make a cross, just like this. And you're going to adjust it to where your hand will easily slide through the hole. So it's a little bit difficult, so I'm going to make it a little bit bigger, like this. And so that's actually a good size. So this is the size of the hole that we want right here. And we want to make sure that it's going to be positioned centered to this geometric bead right here. So what I'm doing is I'm creating a bow-like shape in order to make sure that I have it in the center. So you want to hold the cross that you have the 2 paracord at in place, because what we're going to do is use that in order to create our sliding knots. So this looks like it's in the center. Take the strand, the left strand that was underneath the right strand that we now have in a cross shape, we're crossing over. You're going to take that right strand, bring it over and under the right strand, like that. You're going to bring it up again, and then you're going to take it on the left side, on the left of that loop that you just created, bring it down, and underneath again. So now you have 2 loops there, right here. And what you want to do is you're going to take this cord and slide it through those 2 loops that you just made, like this. And make sure that when you tighten, the loops are in the order that you had created them to. Again, like, make sure that you have a good knot. So we're slowly tightening this, just because, you know, you don't want to just yank it, because, you know, you're not going to tighten it nicely, but try to have some finesse with it so that it can tighten in a clean fashion. And you want to tighten it up against your left thumb and index finger, so that you can make sure that it's in the center. And you can always check by, you know, doing the bow shape, but this is how you'll be able to tell if you're doing it correctly. And so for this knot, because it's going to be a sliding knot, I would suggest not to make it too tight, because we're going to singe off, you know, the ends again to clean it up, but you don't want it too tight to where it can't even slide across the bracelet. So that's really important. Okay, so we're going to do the other side, and we're just going to turn this over just like that. Let's tighten that up a little bit more. So now we already have this knot, so this is going to be a good marker for us for when, you know, we want to create the second knot, to make sure that we're aligned with the bead. So we're going to take, similar to the other knot, same technique, we're going to take this strand, loop it over and under once, then take it on the left side, loop it over and under second time, and then loop it through those 2, or put it through those 2 loops that we just created right there. And again, tighten it very slowly, because we want a clean knot. And so I want it to be, again, before I tighten it completely, I want it to be where it'll match the other knot and be in the center. So that looks about center, I think. I'm going to tighten it now. And again, not too tight, because you want these knots to be able to slide across your bracelet. Okay, that looks pretty good. Alright, so now to know if you did create this correctly, the moment of truth is to pull these apart and they slide, which is great. So that is perfect. Alright, so I'm going to loosen it up, and the next step is I want to be able to singe these off so that, you know, we can clean it up and make it look like the other bracelet, or the example bracelet. Okay, so I'm going to cut this end. This is the end that I use to wrap around the cord and then tighten. So we're going to cut this one off. Like that. Again, hold this strand down, and you're going to singe this off. So you got to be careful when you're singeing these, because you don't want to singe the paracord that it's going to be sliding along, because that's going to be very bad news. It's not going to be able to slide. That's the important thing. Okay, so now for this, we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to cut off the cord that we use to wrap around, slice, and singe. Ooh. Like this. Okay, now flatten it out. I probably would have made these knots a little bit tighter, but yeah, so here is our bracelet. So as you can see, this is really easy to make and really simple. Alright everyone, that was the simple paracord sliding knot bracelet. I hope you guys like it. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. I plan on making more of these, so if you'd like updates, please subscribe. Alright, thank you.